Well, JL, I guess it starts getting towards the business end now, doesn't it? These 3 games into the finals.
Oh, I can't wait for Tuesday. England versus Australia, Lords, Tuesday, World Cup. That's one we're thinking about, but it's that exciting. We literally can't wait for it. So, and then we'll work out what happens after that. But we're very excited about Tuesday.
So what have you made of their unsuccessful run chases through the tournament? Is that perhaps something that goes into your factor?
England?
Oh,
no. We've seen how they've played for 4 years. They're the best team in the world. They've been the favourites all year, and there's reason for that. So I'm not really worried what England are doing. Actually, I'm more worried. It sounds like a coach's cliche, but it's actually honestly dead true. We're concentrating on what we're doing, and we're doing it okay at the moment. We can keep getting it better. So we're looking forward, whether it's England or New Zealand, South Africa, whoever, we're just looking forward to getting better at what we're doing.
You say they've been favourites all year, but we're in the tournament now. You look at the table now, are they still favourites now, England?
Just look at their team. Look at their team, mate. Nothing's changed in a week.
That's on paper. Is there a mental fragility possibly about them? What do you think you can exploit that?
What's that?
Can you try and get in their heads and,
When you've had as much success as England have had leading up to it, I remember 2005 Ashes, the thing that made us most nervous was how well England were playing leading up to it. So in the end of the day, this tournament's going to be about who can hold their nerve in the big moments, and we've got to concentrate on how we're going to hold our nerve in the big moments. There's going to be plenty of them in the next 3 games, hopefully in the semi-final if we make it. And so it'll come down to, I've said for I reckon 6 or 8 months now when it comes to the World Cup, there's lots of talk about statistics and scores and who's going to score what, but it comes down to match play, and we've got to play England on Tuesday better than they play us, and that's what's important.
You said you don't want to play like England in the past and that you want to kind of have your own strategy. Do you feel like your batting strategy is kind of coming off as better as it has kind of in the past?
Yes.
Can you elaborate?
I've been elaborating for the last 8 months, mate. I don't know what else I'm going to say. We've got a game plan. We just got 381. I can't remember, it's been a long time since Australia got 381. There's been a lot of critics saying we can't do that. We've maintained the whole time. If we stick to our game plan and the conditions are right, then we'll get scores enough to win games of cricket, and we've done that for the last 6 months or so, and we'll hopefully keep doing that.
So what's clicked in these last few games, I guess, in that regard then?
Well, I don't think anything's clicked. What's clicked in the last 6 months, Lewis, we played a great couple of games in India, we've played some great games in Dubai, we've played some great practice games, we've played some really good games in this tournament without being at our best still. I mean, we've got Davey and Aaron Finch have done what we've talked about, getting big hundreds up front, exactly what England have been doing for the last few years. We've got guys in the middle who are playing well. We've got adaptability in which is, as I keep saying, is a strength, not a weakness. So yeah, I think it's not just what's clicked the last few games, it's been what's clicked for the last 8 months, and that's exciting for us.
Do the critics frustrate you, mate? Like, obviously there's been a couple of high profile ones. Does it frustrate you that people keep questioning your approach with the bat?
It's easy being a commentator.
Is it satisfying to have those critics come along and be 5-1 and on top of the table or near there halfway through?
Yeah, it's satisfying, but you can't get complacent. You just got to keep doing it. What I know is that whatever we do, people are going to try and pick holes in it. So, for example, if Uzi didn't make any runs the other day, we would have been smashed. But he did, and no one says anything. So, and that's life. That's the business we're in. That's okay. That's okay.
How close was that call? Oh, was it always Uzi and was it always Zamps over line? Were there tight calls last game?
The Zamps one was an easy one, yeah, yep, for that game. And the Uzi one, what, for the batting order or for the team?
Both.
No brainer. He's got more runs than anyone in world cricket.
Yep.
In one day cricket this year. He's adaptable. He's played. Well, he hasn't got a big score. He's come in different situations. He's played beautifully, and I'm really confident with that. And in terms of the batting order, no, we talk about it every single game. When we're in the sheds, I go, sometimes it comes off and you look like a hero, sometimes you don't and you don't. So it doesn't and you don't. So yeah, that's okay. That's just part of being in the hot seat, not being a commentator.
What did you learn from the practice game in Southampton against England that you can take into Tuesday?
I think we'll take some things in terms of the matchups, which we keep to. It's none of your business yet until Tuesday morning when we toss the coin. We don't want to give away too much, do we, old mate? So But we'll take a few matchups. The beauty of the World Cup is we get to watch every game, and we've got lots of eyes on them. We've got lots of good cricket expertise and experience within our group, so we get to watch every game. So we get good ideas, as they'll be doing against us. So yeah, whether it's in the practice game or the games we've been watching, or the last 4 years' footage and data we've got on England, then it all adds up.
We've seen, we've got used to England getting big totals and one-day cricket in general producing big totals, but the last few days we've seen some matches perhaps with lower scores. Do things change slightly when perhaps the pitches aren't giving us the big scores? Does it change for England perhaps in terms of their game plan?
Oh no, of course. I mean, it's hard as a batsman. It's really hard to bat on wickets which are a bit slow or spinning, or when they start seaming around, or that's the nature of the game. And you guys have heard me say for 8 months as well that the size of the scores will be determined a lot of times by the opposition you play against, the grounds you play on, the size of the ground, which is smaller here than in Australia or India, for example, by the squares here in England, which are lightning fast, and by the pitches. So it doesn't surprise me at all, and it's good for cricket actually. I think it's really good to play in different. That's what we love about playing in England, is that you can play in all different. Some days it might swing, some days it might seam around, some days it'll be a bit slower, some days it'll be absolute belters like we've seen for probably 80% of this tournament. So it's nice to have some variation for the game of cricket, I think, and there's been exciting games, haven't there? Often they're most exciting when the scores are lower.
Justin, David Warner has a baby due during this tournament. Have you had a discussion with him about the possibility that he may miss a match or not?
No, he won't miss a match, but that's why Candice has been over. It's worked out really well. She's going to be in hospital at the time. Well, hopefully he doesn't miss a match, but we're of course we're all over that. I mean, it's not going to. I don't like surprises. Not everyone's going to turn up and hope that she might have a baby. Oh, we're going to miss Davey for the semi-final. Well, yeah, that's probably been a fair bit in our discussions. I reckon that's what we've been trying to do, is that always get win-win situations. We work together, and we'll make sure it works out for everyone. So hopefully that'll work out okay.
And just in regards to the boos and the chants seem to have come and gone, but do you expect them to ramp up again, being against England, obviously?
Oh yeah, probably. That's okay. There's absolutely nothing we can do about what the crowds do, or the opposition does, or the weather does. So we'll just go about our business. There's nothing we can do about that.
Joss Buttler came off in Southampton. What match-up was? Coults copped a bit of stick, but then got him out. What did he learn from that?
I'm not giving you any tricks or I'm playing, mate. I'm not giving you any secrets. We've talked about this in Dubai. Joss Buttler he is an unbelievable player. I love watching him bat. I hope he gets a duck this game, obviously, but I love watching him. We were at Somerset together. He's a brilliant young bloke. He's an unbelievable athlete, and he's an incredible finisher. Like he's like the Dhoni of, the new Dhoni of world cricket. So we're going to have to be on top of our game. We know that, but they've got a number. They're Butler, Stokes, Morgan. They've got a lot of. Even Wokes at the end smacks them over point all the time, doesn't he? And pulls pretty well. So they've got a very strong batting line. We're going to have to be on our toes.
Do you think there's signs, Justin, that the expectations will be getting to them? Losing double chases?
You'd have to ask Trevor Bayliss and Owen Morgan. I've got no idea, mate, to be honest. There's good. What I do know is that there's lots of. We've said this all along in the World Cup. There hasn't been really an easy game. The game, yes, India, Afghanistan. How cool is that? And then how it went down West Indies and New Zealand last night, and England. It's brilliant. And so you'd have to ask them that. But all I know, it's a really tough tournament, and that's why we're in the grind at the moment.
Runs on the board has been the way to get England so far. Does that come into your considerations, toss-wise?
None of your business, mate.
What's been the most impressive thing about Warner's return to the team?
Warner's return.
Apart from his runs,
obviously, his runs speak for themselves. I think the way he came into the group, he's smiling a lot. He's super fit. He's hungry. He's fit into the group really well. He's actually really good company. I don't know Davey very well, but he's good company. He's playing well. He loves his family. He's going to have a third daughter now, so it's all. Yeah, he's just moved like Steve. He's just come back in. It's been seamless. Come into the group really well, and they're obviously playing well, which is pleasing.
We're going to speak to Jofra in a bit. He came into the England side. Some people said it might be a bit of a gamble to parachute him in. Have you been surprised by how well he's adapted and come and he's taken wickets? He's right up to the top of Mitchell Stark.
He's another one, great athlete, isn't he? We've seen him a lot in the Big Bash. Adam Griffiths was his coach at Hurricanes, so we know a fair bit about Jofra. He's a brilliant athlete. He bowls fast, he moves well. We'll be on our toes for him as well.
Can it help you in some sense, Shale, that you've coached against him numerous times, and obviously Adam knows him as well as anyone, arguably?
Oh yeah, it does, but again, when it comes down to the match, who knows what's going to happen on the day of the match. But it's nice to know the opposition, but in the end of the day, it's good to know study the opposition, know them well, but then, as I said at the start, be really clear what we're trying to do. And then when it comes to the game, it's just the spirit, the combat of it all. It's great. That's what it's all about. But I guess it's nice to know the opposition.
Pressure's sort of off a little bit at 5-1 in terms of making the semi-finals.
Really?
Well,
you're not feeling it. I'm feeling it.
how do you make sure that everyone stays right on edge? If for instance if you win, then you've got 2 games to go. How do you keep them right at the top of the level?
Ask me that question after the next game. I reckon one thing you will not have to worry about, from where we've come from the last 12 months, that the Australian cricket team will get complacent. Don't lose 1 second sleep about it, okay?
Have England got it all to do? Because their last 3 games, perhaps their hardest games that they've ever played in the group stage, and they all come together with them still with a job to do to get through.
Well, you can look at it 2 ways. We've all got a bit to do, because I think New Zealand are locked in now. But they've got 3 games, and it's going to be like that in the semi-final. They're going to be tough games. I'm sure they're actually welcoming that to play good hard cricket. I always believe that if you're nice and battle hardened and ready for the big contest, you might be a bit weary, but at least you're ready for nothing really surprises you. So for both teams, it's a good thing. We've got England, New Zealand, South Africa, 3 really tough teams which we've had good contests before with. So I think it's a positive thing. For whoever makes the semis, if you're playing tough cricket leading into it, that's a good thing.
Justin, who faces more balls at training out of Ricky Ponting in his prime and Steve Smith?
Well, Mike Hussey was number 1, Michael Clarke, Ricky Ponting, Steve Smith, and probably 4 of our best ever. It's no surprise. Yeah, I think Steve Smith's the way he goes about his business is incredible.